इबादिहिल्लज़ीना इस्तफ़ा अम्मा बाद। अपने अपने बच्चों को अपने साथ कर लें ताकि बच्चों की अलग मजलिस न जमे। अन अब्दुर्रहमान इब्न गुन्म व अस्मा बिन्त यज़ीद अन्न नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम खियारु इबादिल्लाह अल्लज़ीना इज़ा रुअू ज़ुकिरल्लाह व शिरारु इबादिल्लाह अल-मश्शाऊन बिन-नमीमा अल-मुफ़र्रिक़ून बैनल अहिब्बा अल-बाग़ून अल-बुराअ अल-अनत। अब्दुर्रहमान इब्न गुन्म और रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु और अस्मा बिन्त यज़ीद रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हा से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने इरशाद फरमाया, अल्लाह के बेहतरीन बंदे वो हैं जिनको देखकर अल्लाह याद आ जाएं, और बदतरीन बंदे वो हैं जो चुगलियाँ खाने वाले, दोस्तों में जुदाई डलवाने वाले और इस बात के तालिब और कोशां रहते हैं कि अल्लाह के पाक दामन बंदों को किसी गुनाह से मुलव्विस या किसी मुसीबत और परेशानी में मुब्तला करें। It is narrated by Abdurrahman ibn Ghunm and Asma bint Yazid radiyallahu anhum that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best slaves of Allah are those upon seeing whom one remembers Allah, and the worst are those who tell tales, and the ones who put separation between friends, and the ones who want to, who wish to, who are constantly in a struggle to put the friends of Allah, the people close to Allah, in some sin or in some calamity. The first part of hadith, Khiyaru ibadullah alladhina idha ru'u dhukirallah, must have heard of it many times, that the Prophet ﷺ is saying that the best of the slaves of Allah, the best people are those by looking at whom one remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have said multiple times, this is one of the signs that one should see when somebody connects with a person of Allah. If you're going out to make somebody your shaykh, then you should see that one of the signs is that when you look at them, when you sit with them, you are reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One manifestation of that, of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is also tranquility of the heart. So it's not necessarily compulsory that you will sit in the company or look at some person of Allah, somebody who remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala excessively and obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follows the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your heart and your tongue will automatically start to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah, Allah. That's possible, and that happens many times. But as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself has said, that the heart finds peace in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a manifestation, because the problem is that only that receiver which is capable of receiving something can receive the, for example, we have TV antennas. If the antenna is weak, the reception is going to be weak. So if our reception is weak, then we cannot judge that person of Allah, that since I do not remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by looking at that person, and this person is not a true buzurg, not a true Allah wala, the fault lies within us. Our antenna, our reception is very weak. So one of the manifestations is that the heart finds peace. In their gathering, in their company, the heart finds peace. Therefore, I am reminded that in one majlis, Hakim Akhtar rahimahullah, may Allah bless his soul, his very special close person, Mir Sahab, his name was Mir Sahab, he was almost sleeping in that majlis. He was sitting and he was almost sleeping. So Hazrat said that Hazrat used to wake him up like with his word, like ask him to get up and pay attention. But one day Hazrat said that this sleep is also a sign of tranquility of a heart. And then Hazrat recited this sher, the sher I forgot, but the gist was that बहुत बेचैन फिर रहा था मैं दर बदर, बहुत बेचैन फिर रहा था मैं दर बदर, उन्होंने अपनी गोद में लेकर सुला दिया. I was wandering here and there, peaceless. No, I had no peace, and I was running here and there from door to door, and he took me in his lap and made me go to sleep. Gave me such peace that I went to sleep. So anyway, the reality of the matter is that a fact true without doubt, beyond doubt, is that in the remembrance of Allah, hearts find peace. The reason is, ulama have written, in fact I've heard it from my Shaykh as well, if I remember correct, I don't know if under this hadith particularly, but the thing is that when we were all arwah, when we were all in the form of spirits, it is said in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked with us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked with us. Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? We heard of it multiple times. But since today, mashallah, only close people are here, a fine thing that Mufassirin have written is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that, imagine the Creator, the one who is so high that there is no comparison, He is talking to His creation. He is talking to His creation. What an honor it is just to be in the audience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To be able to hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking. Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And not only that, but I've told you multiple times that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the first one to say, Bala, definitely Ya Allah, you are our Lord, you are our Rabb. But then what happened, that all the souls also spoke with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, responded to this question, that Bala, definitely you are our Lord. So what we say in general gatherings is that this was a ahad, this was a pact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took, that today you are here, you are with me, and you have perfect belief in me. The reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enforced this pact through this conversation was that when you go into the world, when you are away and are not able to see us, because there's another thing that I wanted to tell you, that one thing is, let me finish what I was saying, that the reason was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to constantly remember this pact, to carry this pact with us, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb. And we are constantly dependent on Him, and therefore we have to constantly be in an effort to please Him with us, no matter how is it possible. However possible, we have to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing that the ulama Mufassirin have written is that not only did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honor the spirits at that time through conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also this occurred in a state where we were seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we were actually seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And nobody can disagree with this, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that when somebody is in this world, no eye has the capacity to fully comprehend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is also La yudrikul absar wa huwa yudrikul absar, said in the Quran, that no eye can fully comprehend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands and fully controls all eyes. But we were not in this world, and we were not with this body. We were in a state of spirits. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ulama mufassirin have written, that it was in a state where we saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that moment, what happened was that two things happened. Because of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a constant struggle, because of having remained in conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a constant struggle of gaining knowledge, increasing our ilm, came into us human beings. And this ilm, particularly of this world, was given to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. Allama Adam al-Asma. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him the uses and the names and the features of all the things of this world, because he was going to be made a Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. And only through that ilm alone, he answered some questions that increased his status, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the angels do sajda to him, right? Out of respect. So that is ilm. And the longing for ilm came to us by the audience and this conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all the ulum of words, of nuqush, whatever we read, whatever we hear people say, whatever we listen to from somebody's tongue, the longing for that has come by the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by listening to the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the seat of all knowledge has been given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the brain. And the brain is part of the human body. And the human body is constantly in connection with the world and the worldly things. So ilm is ilm of things. It is restricted to this world, and the seat of that is the brain. So the brain does not find satisfaction without ilm. In jahil, the brain does not find peace. There may be different levels for it, but everybody is constantly seeking knowledge to increase their knowledge. We see children, any new thing that they see, what do they ask? How is this? Why is this? What is this? Right? That is that thirst for knowledge. But as we saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is another thing that happened, and that is the kafiyat, that is the state, the feeling of ishq, of love. And the seat for that was made our heart. So the ilm will not, the brain will not find peace without knowledge, but the heart will not find peace without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason why we find peace in the people, in the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the reason why the people who, upon looking at whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reason is that their hearts are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the kafiyat, the ilm we can get from the scholars. The ilm we can get from scholars. The thirst for ilm can be satiated by learning the Quran, learning the hadith, all of that. But to feel that ilm, to feel that knowledge within you, and to feel the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to satiate the thirst of the heart, that happens by the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, as proven by the Quran, and by sitting in the company of the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the reason why our hearts find peace when we go to these majalis of the people of Allah is because their hearts are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore our hearts find peace. So from ulama we get the knowledge. From the ulama of the heart, from the people of Allah, we get the feeling. We get the feeling of deen. If I remember correct, Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi Sahib Rahimahullah said it very beautifully, and I've said it before, that people said you are such a huge scholar. Maulana Rashid Ahmad Mufti, he was a big Mufti, and he was one of the key founders of Darul Uloom Deoband, and he gave his hand in Bayt to a person who did not have formal knowledge, who had not studied in a madrasa. So people asked him that what had happened to you, what had come over you, that you had such huge knowledge and you went to such a person who does not have the formal ilm. Hazrat said that all my life I had gained knowledge, I had learnt new things, I had great ilm of hadith. It was just like somebody told me, if I remember correct, what is barfi? Barfi, you understand barfi? It's a sweet mithai. Like, it is made of this, it has these ingredients, it tastes sweet, its texture is like that. Knowledge of the brain. But when I went to Haji Sahib Rahimahullah, it was as if he asked me to open my mouth and put the barfi itself in my mouth. This is what I gained from Hazrat Haji Sahib Rahimahullah. About the person who has compiled this book, Hazrat Maulana Manzoor Nomani Sahib Rahimahullah, if you look at his book and the explanations that he's written, in very simple words, great explanation of the hadith. He was a great scholar of hadith. He went to Hazrat Raipuri's, right? Hazrat Raipuri Rahimahullah. He went to the place of the Khanqah of Raipuri Rahimahullah, and he saw that people are making zikr. That zikr that people make loudly. He saw that people are making zikr, and he was a great alim. I think, if I remember correct, he stayed the night, but he saw people making zikr, and he went to Hazrat Raipuri Rahimahullah and said that, Hazrat, what is in this? If I remember correct, I don't remember the story, but he looked at it in a way of something being na'uzubillah inferior. That what is this? What are these people doing? They have no knowledge of the Quran. Why are you not giving them knowledge of the Quran and Hadith? Why are they just sitting and saying Allah, 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 Allah? That's it. So Hazrat Raipuri Rahimahullah realized that this person is not asking me for the sake of knowledge, for the sake of learning. He has a way of questioning. So he said, Maulvi ji, ये जो लोग हैं ना, इनको और कुछ आता नहीं है. These people, they can't do anything. They are not worth of, na'uzubillah, in a way, he said, they are not worth of doing anything else. So let them be. Let them do what they are doing. And you are a huge alim. MashaAllah, you are a great alim. What you are doing, you should keep doing. Don't worry about these people. They can't do anything else. But Hazrat has written himself that night I could not sleep, because I realized, I understood that this is something so high that Hazrat did not honor me with the answer. Then next day he went again. Now with a true thirst for understanding what is going on. And then Hazrat was given zikr, and now mashallah, if you see in ahadith, his book, in ahadith that you would read and you would think they have no connection with tasawwuf, Hazrat has in the explanation talked about tasawwuf, this science. There was another great alim, you must have heard of his name, hopefully, Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi Rahimahullah. Our Hazrat Dr. Abdul Hayy Sahib Arifi Rahimahullah has written about him, that when he came to Hazrat Hakimul Ummat Maulana Sharif Sahib Thanvi, so Nadwa, the ulama of Nadwa in general, and Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi Rahimahullah, they were not very convinced about the science of tasawwuf. They were like, what is this? That same thing that we have knowledge, we have the ilm of Quran and Hadith, and we are allama. He was allama of his time, allama Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi. So he went to Hazrat Hakimul Ummat Rahimahullah just to see what this Bade Miyan, this old man has, just to find out. So Hazrat Hakimul Ummat Rahimahullah, Hazrat Dr. Abdul Hayy Sahib Arifi was there as well, and he has told us, he has written in his book or in one of his majalis, that he said that when Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi came, he asked Sayyid Maulana Ashraf Sahib Thanvi Rahimahullah that, Hazrat, what is this tasawwuf? Or no, give me some advice. Thanvi Rahimahullah stayed quiet for a bit, and then shaking his hand, he said, Hazrat, हमारे इस पूरे तसव्वुफ़ की मेहनत का लुब्बे लवाब अपने आप को मिटा देना है, हमारी इस पूरी मेहनत का खुलासा अपने आप को मिटा देना है. Dr. Sahab has written that Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi literally shook, because he was coming with his honor of ilm, right, with his status in his mind. And Hazrat Thanvi has said that when this great alim came to me, I felt, what should I say to him? What should I say to him? So I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my heart, Ya Allah, what should I say to this person? He has such great knowledge. And the one thing that came into my mind was what I said, that from Alif to Ye, from A to Z, our effort is to annihilate ourselves, to forget about ourselves and who we are. The next day, or I think a few days later, he came to the Majlis of Hazrat Thanvi Rahimahullah, because he had been shaken, his heart had been shaken. So he came to Hazrat Thanvi Rahimahullah in the Majlis, quietly came and listened to the bayan. And by the time that bayan, Hazrat was explaining the ma'arif of tasawwuf. Why is tasawwuf zaruri? Why is tasawwuf needed? Why do we have to work on our own self? And people have said, Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi himself has written, he has also actually performed some couplets at that time, he said some poetry at that time. He was, by the time that bayan finished, he was not able to stand on his own. He had to lean against a pillar. And then the couplets that he has formed at that time, the poetry said कि ऐसी इंशराह के साथ बयान किया कि कोई शुबा बाकी नहीं रहने दिया, कोई शुबा बाकी नहीं रहने दिया. He's clarified it so beautifully that he has not let any ambiguity remain in my heart. And then he, if I remember correct, he became a murid of Hazrat Maulana Thanvi Rahimahullah. So anyway, my point is that the knowledge we can get from books and the knowledge we can get from ulama of Zahir, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing. That is in fact something that makes us superior. But the true feeling of that ilm, the true experience of that ilm, and the other thing is, which is basically a translation of Kaifiyat, and the other thing is that the spirit to act upon that ilm, the spirit to act upon that ilm comes from the people of Allah, from the hearts of the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah, if I remember correct, in a hadith, in the explanation of a hadith, there's a famous hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I think it's in Bukhari, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that evil sight, nazr bad, is such that it carries a person into its grave and carries a camel into a pot, basically takes the life away. Hazrat Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah has written that the opposite of this, ضدُّهُ, the opposite of this is Ainul Arifin, the vision of Arifin of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their vision, Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah, he's not an alim of India, Pakistan, that you'd say that, he's maybe tasawwuf is a bid'at of India and Pakistan. Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah, he is a universally accepted sharih, explainer of Mishkat. And he has written that under this hadith that Nadrul Arifin or Ainul Arifin, if I remember correct, whatever, that it is the opposite of the bad sight. And some ulama have said that this is also tawajjuh, but anyway. So it makes kafir a believer, the vision of the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is proven from hadith, and this is proven from so many quotes in the history. We've read about Khaja Muinuddin Chishti rahimahullah, that he left the khanqah of his sheikh and went to traveled some 100 miles or whatever that distance, and every single Hindu that he lay his eyes upon became a Muslim. And we have heard about so many Sahaba that became Sahabi and a Muslim by looking at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one story I know personally, Hazrat Hakim Akhtar rahimahullah, there was this, I don't know if I narrated this before or not, that there was a group of students, they used to play in the street outside the Khanqa, outside the masjid of Hakim Akhtar Rahimahullah. So one day they said that we play here and there's Maghrib Adhan every day. One day they said that let's go inside and pray Maghrib. Let's go inside and pray Maghrib. They went inside and they prayed Maghrib. This one person has narrated his story that as he was getting up, Hakim Akhtar Rahimahullah turned around and gave him a thorough look. And he said, I don't know what happened to me at that time. I cannot explain it in my words. What happened to me at that time. The sight that he put on me. From that day, my heart did not want to do anything. My heart turned away. I was amazed at this strange feeling. I don't want to play cricket anymore. I don't want to do any laghwiyat anymore. And then slowly and gradually, because I had this thing in my heart, I did not find peace anywhere else except to change my life, except to transform my life and come to the life of obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَكَيْفَ نَظْرُ الْعَارِفِينَ. In fact, it is written in the tafsir of one ayah, I am forgetting the ayah, but Hazrat Mufassir Azim, Allama Alusi rahimahullah, he has written these are his words, فَكَيْفَ نَظْرُ الْعَارِفِينَ. What is the status of the eyes of the Arifin? What is the status of the eyes of Arifin? When the evil side has that kind of effect that it can kill people, that it can make, the Prophet ﷺ is saying that it can take a human being into its grave and a camel into a pot to be cooked. Hamdulillah Ali Qali rahimahullah said that the opposite of this is the side of Arifin. They make a kafir a mu'min, a fasiq, an openly and thoroughly disobedient person, a abid, a person who is a muttaqi, who's fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a jahil a alim, somebody who is jahil, somebody who is ignorant. They can turn that person into a alim of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us a realization. Anyway, when the Shaykh of Hakim Akhtar rahimahullah, he said, if somebody asked him that I don't understand this effect of suhbah. What is suhbah? What is company? What is the effect of company? The real thing is ibadat. The real thing is worship. So Hazrat said that fine, then do so much ibadat excessively that you become a sahabi. So he said, Hazrat, how is that possible? I cannot become a sahabi because nobody can do that much ibadat. No matter how much ibadat we do, we cannot become a sahabi. So he said, Acha, then at least do as much ibadat as you become a tabi'i. You become a tabi. Who's tabi? Those who have learned and been in the company of the Sahaba. So he said that's not possible. No Sahaba are alive these days. So how could I become a tabi? Just by ibadat I cannot become a tabi. I said, okay, fine. At least do this much ibadat that you become a taba tabi, the one who has learned from a tabi. I said that is not also possible. How can I become a taba tabi? There is no tabi'in alive. So I said, woe be to you. I'm amazed at your stupidity. That you, by all this conversation, you did not understand the importance of companionship. How did Sahaba become Sahaba? How did Tabi'in become Tabi'in? By staying in the company of Sahaba. How did Taba Tabi'in became Taba Tabi'in? By staying in the company of Tabi'in. In fact, it comes about Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, if I remember correct, that somebody would come, if people would come to him and ask a question, and he would sometimes, if he would have ishtibah, confusion in answering that, he would say, ask the name of Tabi, Sa'id ibn Musayyib rahimahullah. He was a Tabi, not a Sahabi. Sa'id ibn Musayyib. He would say, ask Sa'id ibn Musayyib. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu is saying, ask Sa'id ibn Musayyib because he has stayed in the company of people of Allah. In fact, the great ulama of Sahaba, among the Sahaba, Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, thousands of hadiths are narrated from him, right? Thousands of hadiths. Have you heard about him? He was a man of poor memory. He came to the Prophet ﷺ and complained that, Ya Rasulullah, I have a hard time memorizing things. I remember things and I forget. What did Hazrat do at that time? Took his chadar, put his hand in it, and then gave it to him. Today we say, what do these mashayikh do? Make us hold a piece of cloth when doing bath. Or giving Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh the story of Khaybar. The Prophet ﷺ said to the Yahud that tomorrow I am going to give the command of the army to a person who's not going to see defeat. And then Muhaddithin have written that the Prophet ﷺ tied a special imama on his head. There's another Sahabi, if I remember correct, he said, Ya Rasulullah, in another such occasion, he said, Ya Rasulullah, you are giving me the command of an army and my status is such that I cannot, I think one Sahabi was being sent to Yemen, if I remember correct. He said, Ya Rasulullah, my status is such, my situation is such that I cannot even ride a horse. If I sit on a horse, I fall from it. If I remember correct, the Prophet ﷺ gave him his amama and said, go, now you'll be cured. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, who's called Imam al-Mufassirin among the Sahaba, the leader of Mufassirin. I'm trying to connect ilm with these things. That even among the Sahaba who were considered warriors, how did they become warriors? The Sahaba who were considered ulama and fuqaha, how did they become ulama and fuqaha? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, Allahu Akbar, he has himself said, he was considered Imam al-Mufassirin. He said, one day the Prophet ﷺ embraced me, hugged me, and then gave dua to me that may Allah make you, if I remember the words correct, make you alim of the Quran and also give you the ta'wil of it, the understanding of it. And he became Imam al-Mufassirin. In fact, what happened with the Prophet ﷺ himself on the night that on the occasion when he got the first wahi, Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam came and embraced the Prophet ﷺ, and hugged him very tightly. And the Prophet ﷺ, who was a moment ago saying, Ma ana biqari, I cannot even read. He became the teacher of the teachers. So my dear respected brothers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. These two things, Shariat and Tariqat, are not opposite to each other. They go hand in hand. The connection, if you get it right, remember this, this will help you throughout your lives, that Shariat is what we have to do. Tariqat or Tasawwuf is how to bring ourselves to doing it. And we get that energy through the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is proven from the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah kunu ma'as sadiqeen. O people of Allah, have fear of Allah and stay with the Sadiqeen. Anbiya have asked for the company of the pious people. Anbiya have asked. It comes about Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam in the Quran itself, that he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that alhiqni bis salihin, make me gather in the company of salihin. In fact, about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, Allahumma rafiq al-ala, at the time of his passing away, he's saying, Ya Allah, I choose the company of the higher people. My dear respected brothers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. Anyway, so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that the best of ibad, khiyaru ibadillah, the best of the people of Allah, those that when they are seen, they remind one of Allah. وَشِرَارُ عِبَادِ اللَّهِ الْمَشَّاءُونَ بِالنَّمِيمَةِ. The worst of them are those who tell tales. So keep on speaking bad, ill drawbacks of others to others. Al-mufarriquna bayna al-ahibba, those who create rifts between those people who love each other. So the two people are there, maybe wife and husband, or maybe two friends, and they love each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these people come and they are just out of their jealousy, out of not being able to stay at peace with that, they try to find rifts between people, that somehow they start fighting each other. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from being that person. Al-Baghoon al-Bura al-Anat. The last part is also very alarming, that the worst people are those who, Bara are those who have bir, Bura, the people who are pious people, Abrar, the people who are righteous people. This person keeps on trying to put them into some calamity, put them into some test, some problem. These people, Al-Baghoon al-Bura al-Anat, they want to afflict them with some kind of pain. They want to somehow create problems for the people of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Or somehow make them get involved in some sin. Somehow make them commit some sin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect from being that person. The gist of the hadith is that stay with the people by looking at whom and with the company of whom you remember Allah, and stay away from those people who are fitna parwar, who want to create rifts between people. Stay away from those people, and the people who are telltales, who keep on telling stories about others. Stay away from those people. So get the company of the good people and stay away from the company of those people. So inshallah we'll stop at this. So we'll do the Khatam of Yasin Sharif inshallah, and we inshallah have to complete the count of 41, so it shouldn't be too hard. We have 8 people here, and then we have some sisters as well. So I'm just trying to think how should we coordinate, like between brothers and sisters, that we complete the count of 41 inshallah somehow. Yasin Sharif. تو لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين رب اغفر وارحم وانت خير الراحمين لا اله الا الله الحليم الكريم سبحان الله رب العرش العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. یا اللہ ہمارے سارے گناہ معاف فرما دیجئے. یا اللہ ہمیں گناہوں سے پاک صاف فرما کے اپنا محبوب بنا لیجئے, اپنا مقرب بنا لیجئے. یا اللہ اپنے منیبین میں, مطیعین میں, ذاکرین میں, شاغرین میں, یا اللہ ہمہ وقت کوشش کرنے والوں میں, مقبول کوشش کرنے والوں میں شامل فرما لیجئے. یا اللہ ہماری جانب رحم کی نظر سے دیکھ لیجئے. یا اللہ ہماری تمام تر گندگیوں کے باوجود, ہماری تمام تر یا اللہ تقصیرات کے باوجود, یا اللہ تمام تر کمیوں کے باوجود, یا اللہ آپ ہمیں یا اللہ اپنے رحمت سے, اپنے فضل سے یا اللہ اپنا بنا لیجئے, اپنا بنا لیجئے, اپنا بنا لیجئے. یا اللہ رحمت سے ہماری جانب دیکھ لیجئے, ہمارے تمام کاموں کی اصلاح فرما دیجئے. یا اللہ چاہے دین کے کام ہو چاہے دنیا کے کام ہو, یا اللہ اپنی اعانت, اپنی نصرت, خاص اپنی جانب سے برکت, آسانیاں, عافیتیں یا اللہ شامل حال فرما دیجئے. محض اپنے فضل و کرم سے یا اللہ یاسین شریف کی برکت سے یا اللہ اس مسجد کو یا اللہ باقاعدہ مسجد بنا دیجئے. یا اللہ یہاں اس خانقاہ کو باقاعدہ خانقاہ بنا دیجئے. یا اللہ ہمارے اکابرین کی یادگار بنا دیجئے. سب سے بڑھ کر یہ کہ حضور اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی نسبتوں کو جاری کرنے والی جگہ بنا دیجئے, حضور کے کام کو جاری کرنے والی جگہ بنا دیجئے. یا اللہ اس کو ہمارے لیے سرمایہ آخرت بنا دیجئے. ہم سب کو دامے درمے سخنے یا اللہ اپنی صلاحیتوں کے ساتھ ہر طرح یا اللہ اس ادارے کی خدمت کرنے والا یا اللہ اخلاص کے ساتھ یا اللہ بغیر صلے کی پرواہ کیے یا اللہ خدمت کرنے والا بنائیے, اور ہماری خدمتوں کو قبول فرمائیے, اور ہماری زندگی میں یا اللہ جلد یا اللہ اس ادارے کی ترقیات سے یا اللہ ہماری آنکھوں کو ٹھنڈا فرمائیے. یا اللہ محض اپنے فضل و کرم سے یا اللہ ہمیں اپنے مقبولین میں ہمیشہ شامل فرمائے رکھیے. استقامت نصیب فرمائیے, ترقیات نصیب فرمائیے, جو مانگ سکے وہ بھی عطا فرمائیے, جو نہ مانگا وہ بھی عطا فرما دیجیے. یا اللہ محض اپنے فضل و کرم سے یا اللہ پیارے حبیب صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے جو جو خیر مانگی یا اللہ ہمیں بھی عطا فرمائیے، یا اللہ جس جس شر سے پناہ مانگی ہمیں پناہ میں لے لیجیے، ہماری جانب سے یا اللہ یہ جد و جہد یہاں بیٹھنا، یا اللہ آپ کی بات کرنا سننا، یا اللہ جمع ہونا، یا اللہ آپ کے قرآن کو پڑھنا، یا اللہ سب قبول فرما لیجیے، آپ کے آگے ہاتھ اٹھانا یا اللہ قبول فرما لیجیے۔ سمعنا واطعنا غفرانک ربنا والیک المصیر، صلی اللہ تعالی علی خیر خلقہ سیدنا و مولانا محمد وعلی آلہ وصحبہ اجمعین، آمین برحمتک یا ارحم الراحمین۔